Says the Gemara, Boker Tov, Masechet Kiddushin Daf Samech Bet Amud Aleph, 62a. The Gemara on the top says, we're talking about now, it's good according to Ruchanim and Gamliel. We're going to ask on Rabbi Meir again. That's why it's written, we're talking about the sotah. So he says, if somebody did not sleep with you and you did not go against your husband, so you're going to be clean. But according to the so what does it mean? It says the positive and the negative. If you did, you're going to explode. And if you don't, then you're going to be clean. But according to Rabbi Meir, why he says, why is it that you just said, she's going to be chenek, and that's it. So says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Tanchum says, inaki ketiv. Hinaki, right, is like without the yod. So he says, therefore, it's like minashon chenek. So therefore, he says, chinki ve'at kisatit, right, meaning that you're going to get chenek. So Bisham al Rabbi Meir, that's why it's good according to Rabbi Meir that you dichtiv hinaki. But according to Ruchanim and Gamliel, why does it say hinaki then? So says the Gemara, itzich, you needed it. Why? Sal kadai Rabbi Meir would have thought saying, lo shachav ish hinaki, v'im shachav lo hinaki v'lo chinki, ela yisura be'alma. I would have thought, listen, if right now, right, you did not sleep with anyone, then you're going to be clean. But if you did, so you're not going to be clean, you're not going to get a punishment, but you're just an isur. Okay, you were a naughty girl. You weren't a good girl, right? No. He says, Kamash Malan comes teach you, mamash chenek. That's why he says that I had to bring it down. So Bisham al Rabbi Meir, I understand according to Shtat Rabbi Meir, right? I know the that's what it means. By Yom HaShlishi, which means that he's going to come and he's going to do the sprinkling on the third day and the seventh day. Remember the paraduma, the ashes and water of the paraduma, they sprinkle it on the third day and the seventh day. If he doesn't do it on the third day and the seventh day, but according to Ruchanim and Gamliel, right, Lamali, what do I need? So he says, Itzich, you need it. Sal kadai tanina, I would have thought to say, mitzvat haza'ah bashlishi uva shevi'i. I would have thought to say that the mitzvat haza'ah is going to be on the third day and on the seventh day. Right? If you did one of them, avad, then it's going to be good. Kamash Malanda, you need to do them both. You need to do the third day and the seventh day. You're going to sprinkle the tamei on the third day and on the seventh day. Lamali, why do I need this? Itzrich, you needed it. Why? I would have thought to say, right, that it's going to be on the shlishi, lemiute sheni, shevi'i lemiute shishi. When it said there shlishi, it's coming to exclude that you can't do it on the second day. And if it's written the seventh day, you can do it on the sixth day. As you're being mema'et in clean days. But what if you did it the third and the eighth? I would have thought to say it's going to be okay. You're making more metara. Kamash Malan, I would have thought to say it's going to be good. Kamash Malan comes teach you, right? That we don't do that. What does it mean now that you're going to be chiteo? You're going to purify. You're on the seventh day. Lamali, why do I need it? So he says, Itzich, you needed it. I would have thought to say, but to do with truma, with one of them is already going to be enough. Kamash Malanda, you need both. You need the third day and the seventh day, also for truma, not only for kochi. Here's the Mishnah, Samechbet Amud Aleph, 62a, the Mishnah. Imagine a person gets married to a woman and he says, 1 second, I thought she was a kohenet. Or and really be'emet, she's a leviyah. Or I thought she was a leviyah, and really be'emet, she's a kohenet. Aniya, b'ariya shira, I thought she was poor, she's really rich. I thought she was rich, she's really poor. Harizim mikudeshet, she's going to be married. Mipnei she'lo itato, because she didn't do anything. Meaning, his thinking and that he assumed does not change anything. I don't care what you assume. You assume that, did she tell you she was rich? Did she tell you she was a kohenet? She didn't tell you anything. You assume, it's your problem. It's not her problem. So therefore, it's a good marriage. How merely you should have a person come and he tells a woman, imagine a guy comes and he tells a woman, you're going to be married to me after I do you. I'm going to convert, and after I convert, you're married to me. Or, right, a Yisrael that he tells an Ochrit that you're going to get married, I'm going to be married to you after you're going to be mitkayer. Right? Or Eved Kanani that he says, after I'm going to be freed. Or or he comes and he tells a Shivcha Kananit after you're freed. Right? Or you come and you tell a woman, this is you're married to me after your husband died. After your husband dies, you're married to me. Or after your sister dies. Or after there should be chalitza from your yibum. Ena mekudeshet. And all these things, it's not mekudeshet. Why? He says because it's lo davar ba laolam, which means it's davar shelo ba laolam. It still didn't come to the world. So since it still didn't come to the world, you cannot do something in the future. The same halacha applies to a friend, that he says to his friend, if right now, right, this right, if your wife is going to have a nekeva, female, she's going to be married to me, and I'm mekudeshet. She's also not going to be mekudeshet. Right? And then there's the brackets that we don't do. Says the Gemara. We learned over there in the Mishnah in Trumot. En turmin mina talush ala mechubar, tim taram en trumato truma. Which means like this. We're talking about right now a general rule, klali chati, that has to do with, right, our Mishnah. Okay, so there it says you're not allowed to be torem from something which is talush on something which is mechubar. So that means if you already detached it from the ground, which is talush, you cannot come and take it off, right? Alibul, which is basically still mechubar lakarka, because by mechubar lakarka there's no chiyuv of truma. So you cannot separate from the talush and the mechubar. Because on mechubar it's still not chayav. You've got, אני תלשתי, יש לך מחובר. אני לא יכול לקחת תרומות מפה על פה. זה מחובר. מחובר זה לא חייב לתרומות. לקחת תרומות מפה על זה. אתה חוזר על עוד מילה, אני אומר. עוד פעם. I have to take off 10%. לחבר בין שניהם? לא קשור לחבר. I have to take off 10% of this, of the produce. I took off 10% of this. But I said, you know what? I'm going to take 10% of this, also that which is mechubar lakarka. Says the Gemara, whatever is mechubar lakarka, I cannot take off. Because mechubar lakarka is still patur from Trumot Masrot. Yeah, so anything which is patur from Trumot Masrot, I cannot come and take off Trumot Masrot from something which is chayav in Trumot Masrot to something which is patur from Trumot Masrot. V'im taramna, if you are going to be torem, and trumato truma, it's not going to be good truma. So says the Gemara, ba mine Rabbi Asi Rabbi Yochanan. Says Rabbi Asi, and he asked a question from Rabbi Yochanan, Amar perot arugazu trushim. You trumal perot arugazu, right, which are mechubarim. Imagine right now I come and I say that there's going to be these perot, right? I've got fruits in a furrow, which they are trushim, they are detached from the ground. I'm going to say they're going to be truma on the perot, which are on the ones which are connected to the ground, right? So he says, you trumal perot arugazu trushim, l'sheitlu l'shu, nitleshu mau. Right? Now in both cases, he came and he said that it's going to be truma l'chshit l'shu, when they're going to be detached. And then they were detached. What's the halacha? In both cases, you called it the Shem Truma before it was fitting to be called Truma. But at the end, it's going to be Chal or not. So that's the question. Is it going to be Chal or not? So Elmaleh comes and he says, Kol shebiyado lav kemechusar ma'aseh dami. Anything which you have the possibility to do it, it's not considered mechusar ma'aseh. Meaning, if you have the possibility to right now cut it down, right, obviously mean that it's not Shabbat, or that meaning you have the possibility to do so. So the fact that it's biyado means that it's not lacking a ma'aseh, that you didn't do it, and therefore it should be good. So so they're going to ask the question, how a person that comes and tells a woman after I convert, or after you convert, or after I'm going to be freed, or after you're going to be freed, after the husband dies, or after the sister dies, or after chalitza, in a mikudeshet. Now, why? So Bishama Kulu, I understand in all these cases, Lav Biado, he does not have the possibility to do it. Ela ger, have biado, ger is a possibility to do it. So for example, Yibum is a lo biado, so biada yavam, right? The Achash Shachrer, or Shuish Shachriri, the biada Adon. The Adon, the master, is the one that's going to do it, or not him. Meaning, in all these cases, it makes sense. There's one case that doesn't make sense. The ger, he could convert. So if the ger could come and he could convert, so what does it mean now that you're saying that? It's biado. So I answered the Gemara, ger nami la biado. The ger is also not biado. Why? The Amar B'chia Barabba Amar B'Yochanan says, B'chia Barabba Nimi B'Yochanan, Samech Bet Amud Bet, ger tzarich shelosha. A ger needs 3 Israelim to be mitkayer. That means you need, gerut is not by yourself. Gerut needs to be done in front of a bedin. My tama, what's reasoning? Mishpat k'tiv, it's written mishpat. Kedin, just like a din. Mi emar de mistak uleanitata. Who are going to say that he's going to get 3 people? He needs 3 people, so it's not biado. He has to run around, grab 3 people, and then he has to do it. It's not just stam biado. So matkif la Rabbi Abba bar Mamel, ask Rabbi Abba bar Mamel. Ela me'ata, somebody, now we're going to ask a question. Hanotem pruta l'shikhato ve'amar, If a person gives a pruta to his own shivcha, and he tells her, you're going to be married to me after I free you, are you going to tell me now it's Kiddushin? Why are you going to say it's Kiddushin? Says the Gemara, can you compare the both cases? Hatam mikara behema vehashta da'at acheret. You know what it is? Be'emet, it is biyadcha. You could come and you could get married. You could free her, right? The freeing her is a biyadcha. But there's another difference. The difference is that beforehand, the shivchat kenanit, she's like a behema. Now, after you come and you free her, she's a bardat. She's got that, and therefore it's a difference in her. It's not in him. Biyado zekem biyado. He can free her. It's your slave. Somebody's going to tell you can't free your own slave. Of course you can free it, but it's a thing in her. Somebody gives a pruta to his wife, and he says, he comes, he gives a pruta to his wife, and he tells her that you're going to be married to me after I divorce you. And I'm a kudesh. It's not going to be kudesh. Hachanami, so too, the point of Yochanan should be a good kiddushin. Why? Because biyado legarsha. Says the Gemara, nehid biyado legarsha. He says even though he's got the possession to come and to be megareshota, right? But is a biyado lekatsha. Meaning you're right. He could be megareshota, but it's not biyado lekatsha. Why? Because yichula lagido. It's a talui b'data. So he says tifsho debai revoshia. Anoten shte pruto leisha. Imagine a person comes and he gives 2 prutot to a woman. One of them he tells her, one, get married to her today, and one of the after I divorce you. I'm going to say it's not going to be Kiddushin. So he says, if right now you're going to tell me that it's going to be right Tofes Kiddushin right now, it's going to be Tofes Kiddushin also afterwards. So Tanya Kavet to the Rabbi Yochanan, we learned to write according to Rabbi Yochanan and Tormim in Talusha Mechubar. You're not going to be Torem from the Talusha and the Mechubar. Min Taram, but if you did do the Truma and Truma to Truma, Ketzar, what's the case? Amar, if he says Perot Arugazu Tushin do Trumot or Perot Arugazu Mechuberet, or Perot Arugazu Mechuberet is going to be Truma on the Perot, which are the Tlushim. Lo Amar Krumi, you said nothing. But if you said Lechshi Yitzleshu, and then it was Nitzleshu one more time, it's Yadot to be Tolesh and Zemian. It's in your hands to come and cut it down immediately. And then it's Nitzleshu. Dvarav Kaimin, it's going to be good. Yeter al Ken Amar Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says also more than that. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Afilu Amar, even if he said Perot Arugazu Tushin Truma Perot Arugazu Mechuberet, or Perot Arugazu Mechuberet is going to be Truma Perot Arugazu Tushin, Lechshiaviu Shlish, when they become a third, and then Nitzleshu. That means even if he's going to say, I'm going to wait until it grows a third, and then I'm going to cut it down, it's also going to be okay. So Amar Rabba comes and he says, Lo Amar Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, when we talk about Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Ela B'shachat, only in Tivua, which already grew a shiur which is fitting for an animal, and therefore it's going to be Davar Nikar and Chashuv. It's something important. Aval Ba'agam, but if it's going to be growing in like an agam in a swamp, no, he didn't say such halacha. Right? Why? Because he says this Tzua is not Nikar, it's not Chashuv at all. But if Yosef comes and he says, Afilu ba'agam, even if it's going to be in an agam, even if it's going to be in a swamp, it's still going to be the same halacha. My mashma dehai agam. How do we know that this agam is lishna debutzlanahu, that it's lashon gidul, that it's growing? Amar birazar, damar, krav, the pasuk says, halachof ke'agmon rosh. The agmon is something which is rosho kafuf. The head is like bends down. So he says that Tvua on the first third, when it starts growing enough just to be lachufet rosho, to put it downwards. Okay, that's what he says. So he says, who does it go like this, which we learned in the Braita? Somebody comes and tells his friend, if your wife gives birth to a nekeva, she's going to be married to me. It's not going to be anything. That's only going to be if his wife is not pregnant. But if the wife is pregnant, his words are going to be good. So says the Gemara, come on, what does that go like? If it's going to be like Rabba, it has to be Keshukaru Bara. She has to be after 3 months of pregnancy, which could be in the Ikar, the Ubar. And if it's going to be like Rav Yosef, even if it's not Ukaru Bara, even if it's not going to be with the 3 months pregnancy. Or some people say, Amar Rabba says, Lo Amar Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. When did Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov say this? Ela b'shachat teve kisa. Only by a sadeh, which is growing, and you don't have to give it to drink. Aval b'shachat teve shakya. But we're talking about shachat, which is going to be that it grew right? In the Sadeh Tashrin that you need Ashka'ah, we didn't say that. Rav Yosef Amar, Yosef says, Afilu b'shachat v'shakia, even if it's going to be in shachat, v'shakia, it's still going to be the same thing. How does it go like this? Which we said in the Braita, she's going to be married to me. She didn't say anything. So Amar B'chanina, Ela Shenishto be'uberet. Only if the wife is not pregnant. But if the wife is pregnant, we don't mean. Kemanu, who does that go like? It's going to be well like Shukaru bara l'divrei kol. According to everybody, if the wife is pregnant, it's going to be okay. So Amar Rabbi says, Rabbi mean, so all of them hold. Rabbi mean, they all hold. Adam makneh davar shelo b'olam. A person can be makneh davar shelo b'olam. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov hadam. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, that which we learned, and Rabbi is because we learned in a Braita of lo taskir eved l'Adonav. Rabbi comes and he says, "Lokach eved l'Adonav shachrok." We're talking about a person that came and he took an eved in order to come and to free him, and that's the case which obviously we'll explain as Hashem on Sunday morning.